Tom has seen the latest Turtles movie, which, the trailers made look pretty interesting, and it turns out to be great.
Yeah, it hooked like the when you say like another Ninja Turtles movie, like gut reaction for most people is going to be again. Like how many times are they? How many times are they going to try and fail to do this? Because this is now the fourth iteration of a movie franchise for the Turtles, which is absolutely bonkers when you think about it. Because we had the movies in the 90s, so Turtles Secret of the Ooze, Turtles in Time, which I have a massive soft spot for, and the Secret of the Ooze. Actually, I had the comic book of that as a kid. I guess, full disclosure, I was a Turtles kid. I loved the Turtles when I was yeah. After Thundercats, I moved on to the Turtles. It was like seamless. And then you had the TMNT movie, which was like a
CGI thing. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was okay. The one where they've all been estranged from one another and have to get back together. That's pretty good movie. And then obviously you had the AVForums iteration, which even those I'm kind of like, do I like them more than the Transformers movies? Yeah, I probably do.
Yeah.
I probably do.
Yeah. That's not hard though. I mean, that's not hard.
All that being said, just come to this fresh. Like, forget all of that stuff. This is a new telling of the story of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So if you ever saw the cartoon in the 90s, if you ever read the comics, just forget all that. It's a new interpretation of it, and it is all the better for that. It is refreshed and refreshingly teenage. I don't think any adaptation, I suppose you would call, of the Ninja Turtles has ever. They've all been like older teenagers. You would say that they were like 17, 18, 19. These are like 13, 14-year-olds, and it goes hard on that, wanting to be in high school, wanting to get a girlfriend, being into nerdy stuff that nobody else gets. And on that front, it's really, really like honest. It's just really sincere. It's like the beginning of the first Spider-Verse movie where Miles Morales is a kid that just doesn't really fit in, and it makes you believe that he's just kind of an awkward guy. And it does the same for the Turtles, which is something that I never thought, like, give them some depth of character. That's not interesting to me, except in Mutant Mayhem, the latest movie. They really get into that, and that's like one of the strongest elements of the film. So so it's the story of the turtles. Normal turtles get dripped in ooze, turn into mutants, are raised by a dad rat who is Jackie Chan, want to be part of the world, but dad rat Jackie Chan doesn't want them to be part of the world. So they decide that to become accepted, they must become heroes. And the way to become heroes is to foil the plot of this high-profile criminal called Superfly. And as they try and foil this plot, it turns out that there are mutants everywhere. And it just becomes a movie about acceptance and being a bit different and sticking out and trying too hard to fit in and not trying at all to fit in, and just trying to find the compromise between those two places. And it's just very honestly warm and forgiving of both of those viewpoints. The Turtles are not in the right for wanting to be liked by everyone. April O'Neil, who they meet, who's like a teenage high school reporter, just wants to be liked. She wants to become a reporter so that people will respect her. And, the problems inherent in that are exposed. And equally, Superfly and his plan to take over the world with mutants is also given kind of a human side, and you don't think, like, he's not an inherently bad guy. It's really balanced. Aside from all that stuff, the storyline, which is quite good and very engaging. the animation is ridiculously good. It is contender for my favorite animated feature this year. Yes, against Across the Spider-Verse. And I wrote in my review that like Across the Spider-Verse does a lot of things really well. Like it goes for a breadth of style, and it tries to showcase as much different animation technique as they can fit in one movie. And that's impressive. But equally impressive is to choose one route and just go full force on it. And the aesthetic they've created for this new Turtles movie, which is very hand-drawn, very scribbly, very like homemade. There's like a stop motion quality to the animation, and there's a doodly quality to all of the effects and scratchy character outlines, and it works. It works more holistically than Across the Spider-Verse. It as a visual theme, it's incredible to look at. Every second of it is a joy to watch, because there are moments of it where you think, this, I could be watching a child's drawing, or I could be watching a stop motion like claymation movie, or I could be watching a CGI movie. All of those and none of those, and it's just fascinating to watch.
Been an interesting year for different styles of animation.
For sure.
We had Puss in Boots' Last Wish, which I wasn't expecting to look the way it did. And we obviously had Spider-Verse leading the way for things like this. And we had Nimona, we had Mitchells and the Machines, and now we've got this. I mean, it's interesting that they've stepped out of the box for animation, and they don't feel constrained by delivering one particular thing. This scratchy, crazy, funky, comic booky aesthetic is...
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 years ago, somebody gave studios permission not to all just look like DreamWorks or Pixar, which is awesome. You don't have to make this look like everything else. You can do whatever you want, and people will want, like, not just accept it, but want that. So I hope we see more like daring animation like this.
Yeah, well, I remember watching Puss in Boots and thinking this looks nothing like the Shrek movies, like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and thinking this looks nothing like the Shrek movies, and then after a while thinking looks better.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice that some people are giving the chance. I need to take the kids to see this.
Yes, awesome summer holiday movie for sure.